The Haunting of Redstone Mill, Episode 3. The Taker's demand. It was March 14th, 2025, 2 days after Ava Mitchell's terrifying encounter with the black stone in Redstone Mill, and the clock was ticking. The 26-year-old journalist, 31-year-old mechanic Nate Brooks, and 42-year-old librarian Ellen Carter were marked by the Taker, a sinister entity tied to the mill's cursed past. With whispers haunting their every move and a deadline of 3 days looming, they had to act. The red glow pulsing from the mill's windows was a constant reminder of the danger. Ava's hand still bore the faint mark of the carved hand from the stone, throbbing with each whisper she heard on her recorder. Nate's reflection flickered with black eyes, and Ellen had found her name scratched into her library desk, proof the Taker was closing in. At Nate's house, they gathered iron tools, crowbars, and hammers, determined to shatter the stone under moonlight, as the old ritual demanded. But the Taker wasn't waiting. That morning, Ava woke to a vision, her standing in the mill's silo, the stone glowing, her hands covered in blood. It felt real, her palms sticky, but when she checked, they were clean. Nate reported a similar nightmare. He was forging iron, only to see his own face in the flames, screaming. Ellen found a page from the 1915 logbook on her doorstep, its ink fresh. The Taker twists your mind before it takes your soul. They returned to the mill at noon, the cornfields silent around them. Inside, the air was thick, the whispers louder. Blood give blood. Ava's recorder captured a new voice, her own pleading, "No, please," though she never said it. The silo's ladder creaked as they climbed, the stone waiting, its red glow pulsing like a heartbeat. Nate raised his crowbar, but the shadows on the walls moved, workers from 1915, their faces hollow, pointing at him. "You first," they hissed. Nate froze, his mind flooding with memories that weren't his, hammering steel, the heat of a forge, a voice promising wealth. He swung the crowbar, but it slipped, striking the silo wall instead. The stone pulsed, and Ava saw her vision again, her hands bleeding, the stone drinking it. She grabbed Nate, pulling him back, but Ellen stumbled, her foot catching on a beam. The stone's glow flared, and Ellen screamed, her eyes glazing over as she muttered, "It wants me, it knows me." They dragged Ellen outside, her body limp but alive. At the library, they pieced together the truth. The 1915 letter Ellen found earlier hinted at a second ritual site, a hidden chamber beneath the mill where the Taker was born. The stone wasn't just a relic, it was a conduit, drawing power from the burial ground below. The Taker demanded 3 souls every cycle, 1915, 1945, 1975, binding them to the mill until a new trio was offered. Ava, Nate, and Ellen were the latest targets, with Ellen now the weakest link. That night, under a waxing moon, they returned with iron tools and a plan to find the chamber. The mill's interior twisted, hallways stretched, doors vanished, until they found a trapdoor under the silo, its edges stained with old blood. Inside, the chamber was a cavern of roots and bones, the air heavy with decay. At its center stood a stone altar, the black stone embedded in it, glowing brighter. Shadows danced on the walls, chanting, 2 days, 2 souls. Ava touched the altar, and her mind flooded with images, workers bleeding into the stone, a hand rising from the ground, a voice promising life for death. She saw Nate and Ellen, their faces pale, hands outstretched to the Taker. She yanked back, but the mark on her palm burned, spreading red veins up her arm. Nate smashed the altar with his crowbar, cracking it, but the stone pulsed, and Ellen gasped, her eyes rolling back. "It's in me," she whispered. The chamber shook, roots snapping, and a shadow loomed, taller than the others, its hand outstretched, matching the stone's carving. It spoke, its voice a chorus of the lost. One more or all 3. Ava's recorder crackled, playing Ellen's voice, "Save me." But it was too late. Ellen's body rose, her shadow merging with the Takers. Nate grabbed Ava, pulling her toward the trapdoor as the mill groaned, the red glow intensifying. Outside, they collapsed in the cornfields, Ellen's screams fading inside. Ava's arm pulsed with the mark, now covering her forearm. Nate's phone buzzed, a photo of Ellen, standing in the chamber, her eyes black, the stone in her hands. The mill's glow pulsed once more, and a new whisper came through the recorder. One day, one soul. To be continued.